It's time for a Big Blue Kickoff Live.
Nobody can ever tell you that you couldn't do it, because you did.
On Giants.com.
You know what I saw? New York Giant Prime.
And the Giants mobile app.
17-14 is the final. One touchdown, we are world champions. Believe it, and it will happen.
Part of the Giants Podcast Network.
Let's go out there like a bunch of crazy dogs. Have some fun.
Welcome in to Big Blue Kickoff Live, presented by Cadillac. I was like, is it Wednesday? Is it Tuesday? What day is it? August 19th is what day it is, according to the calendar. Tuesday. There we go. It's Tuesday. Big Blue Kickoff Live, presented by Cadillac, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Football Giants. Thanks so much for being with us. My name is Madelyn Burke. He is Paul Dottino. The phone number here, 201-939-4513, or you can find us on social media at #GiantsChat. And as a reminder, you can find the archive of this show and all of our podcasts, our entire podcast network, on giants.com/podcast, as well as the Giants mobile app, podcast platforms everywhere. Thanks for joining us. We are here in the Giants podcast studio, presented by Hackensack Meridian Health. Keep getting better. Now that we've paid the bills, Paul, we've got some exciting news to start the show. This is the final full practice before the Giants' final preseason game Thursday night at MetLife Stadium, when they'll be hosting the New England Patriots. And it was a pretty packed day on the field because we saw a lot of returns from injury. Malik Neighbors back on the practice field after missing several practices. Cam Scadaboo back out there participating. But the big news, Andrew Thomas making his debut, activated off the PUP list today, Paul.
Yeah, Thomas did some, he was in full gear, and he only did sprinting on the sides and also doing some running with the waistband resistance rubber bands. I'm going to call them rubber bands. I don't know what the official
resistance bands.
Yeah. You probably
which
do
are
Pilates
essentially
and all that other stuff.
Exactly.
I figured she did. Of course. Why not?
We got the fitness going, but essentially they are pretty giant rubber bands, so you're not wrong.
So that's what he did. Did not do anything else in terms of team drills, but he was in full gear and doing that stuff. That's part of his ramp up coming off the physically unable to perform list. We all know about the foot thing that he had at the end of last season.
Frank.
Again, she's being very technical.
Well, I'm just trying to let the people know, because I mean, foot thing could be arranged, but Liz Frank is a pretty big one. He had surgery. Out
there who might think Liz Frank is a dinner sauce on your steak or something.
Yeah, a poif. Liz Frank a poif.
There you go.
But yeah, he had surgery in October.
Anyway,
yeah.
So the bottom line is he's being ramped up. Brian Dable said this was the original target date for him all along. We tried to tell you on this show not to panic, that everything was under control. Well, indeed it is, and we saw some evidence of that today. Malik Neighbors did a few things, individual drills, a couple of things there, but again, he did not do team drills again today. So that to be noted. Scadaboo.
Well, and also one more note on Malik, too. He came out there with the Guardian cap on his helmet, which is that kind of fluffy, for those not familiar with the terminology. It looks like an airbag over the helmet. It's meant for, practicing and whatnot. There was an issue. I'm not sure what the issue was, but for a while he was standing on the sideline with the equipment staff as they were fixing his helmet. And then he said, you know what, I'm going to get out there and get a couple reps in individuals without my helmet, because he missed a couple series of the individual reps while waiting for that to get fixed. So he did get work in, not entirely.
No team drills.
No team drills, but he's back out there, and
Yes.
Yeah.
Cam Scadaboo not only did a bunch of sprints, but also took place in some special teams drills, which I thought was very interesting. The thing about Cam, it's funny with him. I don't know how many of you folks are Yankees fans and remember back in the 70s they had an all-star center fielder named Mickey Rivers. Mickey had a bow-legged walk, and despite the fact of being one of the fastest players in the major leagues, Mickey used to walk almost like with a limp.
Like a cowboy on Yellowstone?
He had a little bit of a limp to him.
Okay.
He just did.
Okay.
It was his natural gait.
Mickey Rivers?
Mickey Rivers.
Yankees center fielder from
Yes,
the 70s?
He was.
Okay.
That is correct.
All right.
And the funny part about Scadaboo is that when I watched him today, and he did his sprints perfectly, no sign of any issues whatsoever. Remember, he's got the sore hammy, right? Then he gets out there and he does the special teams drills, and he's planting and he's changing direction and he's going after the tackling dummy and he's doing everything he's supposed to do, and he looks fine. Then he goes walking back to the rest of his teammates who are doing the drill, and it looks like he's got the Mickey Rivers limp. And I'm like, Okay, so now I think we can pretty much rule out the fact that when he shows a little bit of a walking limp, it's not an injury. It just happens to be his gait, much like Mickey Rivers. And the only reason that I can even be safe about making this call is because I remember Mickey Rivers. Had I not known that there are athletes who have had that gait, I would probably say, oh my, gee, he must have hurt himself. But I don't believe he did. I think that's what he does.
Come to Big Blue Kickoff for the Giants content. Stay for the Mickey Rivers references. I mean, if anybody else was pulling a 70s Yankee center fielder out of a hat, I would be baffled. But Paul Dottino, I love it.
We try to give you folks the most complete and inside information that's possible. And there you go.
He does kind of move like an action figure, though, because he's
very slow.
Smaller in stature, but he's a presence, and he's dense, and so I can see that. Yeah,
and his walk is slow.
Yeah,
I mean, with all due respect, Cam Scalaboo could probably beat me in any combine test that you could possibly dream up.
He's slightly more athletic than you, yes.
However, when it comes to speed walking 5 miles a day, Cam, I got you, pal.
For those of you
got
new to
no
the show,
chance. No chance.
those of you new to the show, one Paul Dottino walks 5 miles a day, and
I did 10 yesterday.
Come they'll
on,
say
it's a minimum of 5.
It's a minimum of 5. You know how they say, oh, hey, you got to get 10,000 steps a day, and people will check their pedometer of how many steps did they get, whatever. Dots doesn't do cumulative. He has to do it in a row. So he'll lap the practice field out there, minimum 5 miles.
35
power
times.
walking like one of those mall walkers in the
There you go.
thing. And you know what? Those Air Monarchs get miles on them.
Oh my goodness. I'm due for another pair. I go through 2 pairs a year.
Yep.
Okay. And this pair is starting to go now. They're worn on the bottom, and I have a seam that's starting to come apart.
So they'll become the lawn mowing shoes.
You can't have the creased
Bingo.
Monarchs.
I know your process.
That's it. He knows.
See?
They
Pearson's
become
been
the
about
lawn mowing sneakers. That is correct.
Yeah.
And this is going to happen after this game Thursday. I'm not going to change the sneaks out until after the preseason is over.
Well, because if you change them before, what if the 30-point streak ends? Then it's on you. It's on your Monarchs.
Wait a minute.
They've had 30 points in each of the first 2 preseason games.
So,
and I think it's the consistency of the shoe.
If they score 30 Thursday, I have to keep the old shoes.
I mean, you could be wearing some Crete's Monarchs for the offense, you know?
I may have to wear them through the Washington and Dallas games to continue putting up 30.
The things we do for the things we love.
Hey, if it works.
If it works. Hey, not mad at it. Not mad at it. Giants fans, make sure you go and subscribe to the Giants Huddle podcast. It features long-form interviews with Giants players, coaches, and front office staff, past and present. Plus, hear from the best analysts covering Big Blue in the NFL. Search for Giants Huddle and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, or go to giants.com/podcast. And don't forget, if you are on Apple Podcasts, leave a 5-star positive review for all of our Giants podcasts. Now, the Giants are practicing later today. Throughout training camp, they've been out there starting at 10 a.m., finishing around noon, and then we usually come up on the show after practice and talk about what we saw. They're still out on the field.
Oh, they're finishing up right now.
Yeah, they should be finishing up pretty shortly. Yeah. And so we only saw the beginning or the majority of practice, really the first
80%,
8-9 periods.
You want to go over the big plays?
But let's hear what stood out to you, Dots.
All right, the 7-on-7s, there was nothing spectacular that really deserved to get mentioned. The 11-on-11s, Dart hitting Dulcich on a right drag route, and he lofted the ball with perfect touch. Dulcich hauled it in. I thought that was a pretty sweet play. I also thought defensively, I had a pass defense for Williams in the secondary. DeVito was trying to hit Pascal, and D. Williams came up with a nice pass defense on that one. Then in the next 11-on-11 drill, it was a red zone, deep red zone. They were working from the 10-yard line and in. I thought I gave a star to Russell Wilson, to Darius Slayton. He just ripped the ball right to him. It was a laser beam, to be honest with you. That went for a touchdown. And then Dart to Bo Collins, a slant from the left side, back of the end zone, right under the goalpost. again, a tightrope right to the receiver for the touchdown. Those were the highlighted plays, and I don't think I had. Oh, I did have one defensive play in the red zone. Dart tried to throw a right fade to Dulcich, and Art Green knocked the ball away.
Yeah.
That was the only defensive highlight I had in that series.
Green also had a nice defensive play in the. Well, I guess it was not 1-on-1, 2-on-2s when they were doing that in the end zone there. Knocked the ball away.
Yeah, the 2-on-2s. They did a bunch of crossing routes and 2-on-2s earlier, but like in the beginning of practice. There's not much for me to really grade there.
It's fewer or it's less frequent that you see the defender win that rep, I believe.
Well, that's true because
that's
it's really set up more for the quarterback and the receiver than it is the defensive player.
Absolutely.
Because, to be honest, folks, what they're really doing is they're running rub route or pick route drills.
Yeah.
Is really what they're doing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but we digress. Also, Jameis Winston took off running down the sideline in one of those, which I thought he has the most joyful, talking about gait. He has such a joyful gait.
Oh, yeah.
Jameis runs down the sideline,
like a
and in my
racehorse.
head, no, it's like you're hearing okie doke, like he's got his arms churning, and he just looks like the most joyful human.
So he cuts around the left side, and it's about 40 yards to the end zone. And he takes off, and he's got his little 10-yard gain, and he could easily run out of bounds and end the play. Why not? I mean, what's the point, right? No, not Jameis. Jameis is going to tiptoe that sideline and run it all the way to the goal line. And everybody else on the sideline is thinking to themselves, don't pull a hamstring. Don't pop an Achilles. Don't accidentally trip over yourself and sprain an ankle, okay? Please don't do anything. Just stand up and finish the play.
Meanwhile, Jameis is just tiptoeing in my Jordans, just going down the sideline.
He is a character.
He is such a character. Love to see it. 201-939-4513 is the phone number. Phone line's already lighting up. So Jay from Phoenix is our first caller of the day. Jay, welcome to Big Blue Kickoff Live. You're on live with Madelyn and Paul.
Hi, good morning from Phoenix. It's euphoric after both of these preseason games. But I wanted to tell you, like on Sunday morning, when I listened to Schmelk and Tiki's postgame on the podcast, and I'm walking my dogs, hashtag shout out to Ruby and Ringo, and we're walking, and I'm listening to Jackson Dart in his press conference, and he said this. He said, I think the most important thing is us getting the win. I want us to continue to expect these kind of things as a team. And it stopped me in my tracks, and I just, shouted for joy. The leadership of this 22-year-old kid already. Now, I'm fully in support 100% of Russ and Jameis as the backup, but I just love to hear the maturity and the leadership right off the bat from Jackson. It was just awesome.
Oh, absolutely.
Just love that.
Yeah.
Love that mentality.
If I may add, that's one of the reasons why Bill Parcells put a high premium on winning preseason games. Bill believed that if you made the players feel good and allowed them to develop the winning habits that would be necessary during the regular season, they will appreciate that more, want to feel those winning habits over and over and over again, and experience the joy of winning as frequently as possible once the season started. If you look at Bill's record, he was like 75% winning percentage in the preseason. Now, he didn't play for blood. Don't misunderstand. He didn't do that. But he did, even if the backups were in the game, strategize and try to win those games.
Yeah.
He in all honesty,
If you're on the field, you should try to win the game.
he's the only coach that I've ever known in my years of doing this, and that includes Tom Coughlin and Dan Reeves and the rest of them, who put a higher priority on winning preseason games, where other coaches were more interested in, we've got to grade these guys, we've got to figure out who we want, we got to figure out who we're going to cut. Bill was all into that too, but he's like, no, don't ignore winning the game, because it can teach these young kids especially good lessons that you'll want them to repeat. Jackson Dart saying what he said made me think of Bill Parcells, and I think it's important because Brian Daboll, for the first time in his 4-year head coaching career with the Giants, has allowed a bunch of his starters to play in the preseason.
Yep.
which, as you know, philosophically has always been my take on how you should handle things. So I feel very good about that entire picture as it unravels, and the Giants will now play the Pats on Thursday.
Well, and it's a great great point out, too, by you, Jay, because it's not only Jackson Dart, but it just kind of echoes and shows the culture of this year's Giants team. Brian Daboll, after the win in the locker room addressing the team, says, hey, believe you're good, but you got to go out and do it consistently. And so instilling that confidence in his team, and it's like, in the NBA, a shooter, you want to see the ball go through the hoop, and then you've got that confidence back in you that you can get hot again, but you still got to go out and do it consistently. And Jackson Dart, of course, citing the fact that the that third down play where somebody got around his ankles, and he's like, I could have scored on that. That's the one thing he was thinking of after his incredible performance on Saturday night. But like you said, the importance is that the team got the win.
Yeah, so I consumed all of the interviews and the press conferences and the sights and sounds and all that stuff, and you can just see it. You can feel it, like you said, Madelyn. It's this year's team has got they got a good feel to them going into the season. And what I'm hoping is because inevitably it will happen. They will get punched in the mouth.
Sure.
I hope instead of folding, they punch back, and they punch back hard.
Yeah.
And that's what I think, especially with the type of mentality that you've seen the last 2 years with the draft and also free agency. You've seen those kind of guys coming in, so I think that's going to be great. And the last thing I just want to say real quick is I want to say shout out, Paul, you said it the other day. Carmen Brasillo has done an amazing job with the offensive line. They are not the collection of the best players on the planet. I mean, when Andrew Thomas is, absolutely. But he has got them performing the high level. And each team that came in, the first team, the second team, the third team, and the guys who may not make even the practice squad, it looked the same. And that's been something for me that I look at during preseason is does the team look the same when the backups are in? Anyways, I'll let you guys go. Have a great afternoon, and we'll talk to you later.
Thanks for calling in from Phoenix, Jay. I like that, too. And as much as I want to give a lot of love to Carmen Brasillo, who's done a fantastic job with this group, I mean, you look at this offensive line, they're picking up stunts and shifts, and okay, I see you. One additional influence that I will add, Russell Wilson. Jermaine Illuminor talked about this the other day, saying, hey, Russ is the kind of guy who holds everyone accountable, holds everyone to a high standard. And there was a play in which Jermaine maybe just kind of jogged it out a little bit, didn't run full speed.
The bomb to Collins.
Yep, on the bomb to Collins.
Yep.
And Russ acknowledged, like, hey, man, we got to finish. And holding your teammates to a high standard, having a player of that caliber, a Super Bowl champion quarterback who is mindful of everyone's role in the offense, of everyone's role in the team, and is holding you to the standard that he sees you're capable of. Because, yes, the coaching is fantastic and it is helpful, but when your peers are also holding you to a high standard, that adds another layer to the expectation.
Well, Shea Tierney, the quarterback's coach, said this morning in his media briefing, the quarterback has to be the engine that drives your team. Mm-hmm. And it's great that Russ is doing that with all of his teammates. I go back to what I said originally when we first saw him at minicamp. And I said, folks, what's happening here, and it's a phrase that's been around for decades, a high tide raises all boats.
Yep.
Russell Wilson is doing everything he can to make sure that all of his teammates raise their level of play so that collectively the entire team improves its level of play.
Yeah.
He believes in that philosophy. There's no question in my mind about it. He's trying to do everything he can to employ it. And to this point, it's working.
Well, and so does Brian Daboll. I mean, he's emphasized to us a handful of times already, when we've talked to him in the hallways, whatever, just the importance of player-driven leadership. Mm-hmm. Yes, you want to have a team that's together. You want to have individual players step into the leadership roles. We hear that it's almost a sports cliche, but player-driven leadership. Oh, I know. I saw that. I tweeted earlier. Player-driven leadership is an important thing. What Paul is pointing to is the bottom line right now. Daniel Jones has been named the Colts Week 1 starter. So congratulations, DJ. Excited to see you ball out in Indianapolis.
Yeah, as expected, and I'm very happy for him, and I hope it goes really well.
Absolutely. Giants fans, the Giants official connected TV streaming app, Giants TV, brings original video content and game highlights on demand and direct to Big Blue fans. Giants TV is free on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire TV, and on the Giants mobile app. 201-939-4513 is the phone number as we head back to the phone lines. Malachi calling from Florida. Malachi, what's going on? You're on Big Blue Kickoff Live with Paul Dottino and Madelyn Burke.
Well, Madelyn and then Paul, I wanted to ask you guys a question regarding our defense. I feel like last year we really didn't have a lot of explosive plays when it came to turnovers or fumbles or like pick sixes. And I was wondering for you guys, of the first 2 games, where do you think we could see more of those explosive plays out of our defense? And how does Bill Carter help us give us more opportunities to make those plays?
Well, we saw a takeaway in Buffalo, Paul.
We saw an interception by Page this past week, and we saw Ford with a fumble recovery against the Bills. First of all, the Giants had 15 takeaways last year, which was tied for the 5th fewest in the NFL. So you're 100% correct. They need to get that ball. The coaching staff has been very adamant, especially Shane Bowen, the defensive coordinator, about we've got to punch that thing out. We got to get more hands on those things. I think more so than Abdul Carter, who obviously with his pass rush can speed up a play, can get a quarterback to panic, can maybe even strip sack a ball when he gets to the passer. Aside from that, look at Paulson Adebo's stats, if you would kindly do so. He has a propensity for taking the ball away. He's one of those guys who, not only is he a terrific player, but he also has the ball skills to make the play and to get the ball, not just knock it down, not just get to the receiver and stop him for no yards after the catch. He gets the ball. I think he more than anybody might be the one singular factor that could help the Giants get more turnovers, because he has that it factor that some players just do.
Yeah. Well, and we've talked about this too. Shane Bowen has emphasized the importance of taking the ball away. We've talked about the turnover chess that he's implemented this season. What you focus on is what you get, is what he often says. And, you know, the Giants were among the last in the league in turnover differential last season. That's something that's got to change. If you've got the ball, you've got a higher opportunity to score with it.
Well, it changes field position.
Yeah.
You know, and it takes away a scoring opportunity for the other team. Yeah. It's infinitely important. Tom Coughlin used to tell us all the time, like, if you are +2 in turnover ratio, you have like an 80% chance of winning the game.
Yeah.
I mean,
so you're telling me there's a chance.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for the call, Malachi.
Thank you, guys. Could you also answer which of the 2 first games you think we could get more of those explosive games, whether against the Washington or the Cowboys?
Both of them.
I mean,
both of them.
I'll take that. Sign me up.
I just feel like I want to be on the record being confident, because if we go 2-0, I'll be like, I told you so. And if we don't, I'll be like, well, I tried.
I mean, look, Washington and Dallas both, in my opinion, are not the same teams they were last year defensively. I think they've both taken some hits. We know that Parsons at the moment is not at Dallas practice.
No, he is at Dallas practice.
Well, he's not
very
doing
awkwardly walking up
Yes.
and down the sideline, not participating, waiting for Jerry Jones to actually call his agent. But also in Washington, Terry McLaurin, that still remains an unresolved
but that has nothing to do with explosive plays. He's on offense. He's talking about defense.
Oh, he's talking about defense. Oh, okay. I thought you meant, yeah. All right, that's fair.
Yeah. So without Parsons doing anything, look, whether or not he's on the active roster and decides he's going to play, the bottom line is he's missing time. Guys do tend to get out of condition, and a lot of guys who wind up, landing on the field late, pull soft tissue muscles and get injuries.
Well, there's a difference between being in shape and being in football shape.
Yes.
And, I mean, or you talk about Pilates at the beginning of the show. I know the difference. When you take a few weeks off and you go to a class, I'll be sore for a month. So you talk about getting out of shape. You could be in the gym, you could be training yourself, but when you're not in game shape, that's a reason why there's, 5-6 weeks of ramp up of training camp to get ready for an NFL season. If it wasn't hard to get in game shape, they just show up and play week 1.
So let me just say this, and this does not go under the category of showing great sportsmanship, but I'm not going to cry any tears for Washington or Dallas if McLaurin does not play or is not at 100% against the Giants, and ditto for Micah Parsons. Okay? Boo-hoo, too bad. If they're not 100%, that's the breaks. You got the schedule, the Giants are coming to play you, that's the way it is.
It is one of those things, too, that we have to kind of rein ourselves in at times because the preseason can give us a false sense of confidence. You know, you're out there kind of executing 11 personnel, simple offense, simple defense, basic functionality. Once you start actually throwing out the bells and whistles of what you're trying to do on both sides of the ball, that's when things get interesting.
I just hope that, in all honesty, I just hope that the Giants, with another week and a half or so to go, actually it's about 2 weeks until they play their opener in Washington against the Commanders. I just hope that, in spite of the fact that I'm always in favor of getting the guys in there for a little bit of preseason snaps, that nobody does get hurt here. Because now, as of today, everybody was on the practice field.
I will say that is an incredible thing because, Paul, you've been doing this significantly longer than I have, but I have been around this team also for this is my 10th season. And of the past several that I've participated in some of the sideline coverage of the preseason games, I recall doing many an injury report during preseason. I think the most hits I ever got were all just injury. We have had, so I don't want to say it out loud, but I'm just saying maybe playing into shape is a benefit. Because, you know, scared money don't make money. Scared play don't stay healthy. It makes sense if you don't think about it. So I think they're going in there confident and they're saying, okay, yeah, we trust our guys to go out, to execute, to play, and to come back in one piece and to be ready for week one and to be fully healthy on the practice field or fully participating in some sense on the practice field on August 19th, 2 weeks before week one. That is a great sign for the season ahead for the Giants.
It really is. And Brian Dable has been telling us throughout training camp that any of the guys who are being held out because of various ailments or various pains and aches, he said that, you know what, I don't think any of them are long-term.
Right.
He didn't indicate that he was significantly bothered by any of those hurts. And as it looks right now, he had good reason to feel that way. Let's just hope it stays.
I'm touching. The desk is made of wood, by the way. Touch wood, knock on wood, all the wood. We've got people watching live on YouTube with us as well. Thank you so much for chiming in, watching live. I want to give a shout out to some of the YouTube commenters. Dave Hubbard says, I know it's preseason, but how much will we see Elijah Chapman at fullback this season? I hope it's a regularly used formation. Elijah Chapman is a player that, you know, 2 for 2 in the preseason, has found a way to jump off the tape. Last year in Houston, when he chased down the, he's a D tackle. He's an undersized D tackle based on, you know, some scouts, but he's fast. He's sizable.
Has a motor.
He's got a motor, and he can wreck in contact as well. But then they put him at fullback because he did, while at SMU in college, play a little bit of fullback. We saw him there in this preseason game Saturday against the Jets. Paul, what do you think?
Never touched the ball at SMU, and he reminded me of that last year, how he asked the coaches, give me a chance, and he wants the ball too. He doesn't just want to block, he wants the ball.
No, we need a Piesman touchdown from him, you know, like a big guy touchdown.
First of all, I don't know if he's making the team. All right, let me make that very clear. I'm not sure he's on the 53. I think he's a bubble guy. If he's not on the 53, I know very much that this coaching staff is a big fan, and I'm sure if he clears waivers that they'll re-sign him and bring him back to the practice squad. I'm sure of that. They love the kid. But I don't know that he's going to make the 53 as it stands today. I do know that the coaches have expressed to us, and Brian Dable himself, the top guy, said, when you are able to give guys other opportunities to show that they can do additional duties, it adds value to the player's resume. So Chapman's helped himself, but I still don't know that he's on the 53 yet.
All right. Well, you know what? That's what we will all find out collectively together
Tuesday.
Next week. Tuesday is cut day. The 53-man roster will be set. And then in the days following, the waiver wire will be monitored. So, again, remember that 53-man roster on Tuesday is not going to be the week one final roster. So hold your jersey purchases.
I call it the first 53.
Yeah, it's a good way.
Because it does change.
It does change. Changes. I got to...
Bowie.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, how about that, huh?
Look at that.
See, you're going back to my era now.
Yep. We've got another YouTube comment from a clearly a big Giants fan, so big of a Giants fan that his username is Pat Hanlon. Shout out to Pat Hanlon, who is also the head of PR here with the Giants. But Giants fan Pat Hanlon says, can you guys see them putting together packages for Dart during games? I love when people go deep cuts like that. I love it. You got to give hat tips. There's a lot of people within this organization that make the wheels turn, and Pat Hanlon is one of them.
Are you sure that's not really him testing us?
I would be flabbergasted if Pat Hanlon is standing on the side of Dable or of the, of the practice field and is just tweeting into YouTube. But you know what, Pat? I appreciate it if you are watching us live right now.
That is cool. Two-folded answer. Number one. There is no doubt that the Giants are gearing plays for Jackson Dart during the preseason. They've talked about the communication throughout the summer. They tell him what they think he can run because they've looked at his tape, and he vice versa tells them what he enjoys running. Mm-hmm. So we've seen plays that are certainly geared towards the kind of stuff that he's going to have success with. There's no question about that. Washington did that with Jaden Daniels last year at the very beginning of the season, and it went all the way to the midpoint before they actually started to do some of their real stuff. They were trying to, I don't want to say baby him along, but they certainly were very aware of the kinds of things they were giving him. So yes, to some degree, he does have stuff that they know he can do really well, and that's part of the reason why in these first two games he's been terrific.
Well, I also like, too, that Brian Dable has very clearly curated the offensive strategy around the quarterbacks. If you look at the style of play and style of play call that, Russell Wilson's out there with versus Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart in that hurry up very frequently. We're seeing him get up and down the field in that quickness. It'll be interesting to see. It's a weapon they have at their disposal. Last week he even tested Dart's readiness, put him in for one play. Yeah. I was like, hey, you're in, go in, because you never know.
And what did he do?
Somebody's shoe could get untied or whatever. He goes in, hits Theo Johnson on a screen, who gets 30 yards of yak.
Bingo.
And a big, nice little first down right there.
That?
And then he goes right back to the sideline, and Russ comes right back in. And then a few plays later, he goes right back in. Snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap.
Check another box.
Exactly. Check another box. But, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready is the mantra right there. So.
Yeah. And so as far as Thursday's game, I would expect to see a lot more of Jackson Dart again. Absolutely. But I don't expect the philosophy to change. Mm-hmm. I think they will continue to give him plays that he's really comfortable with. And besides, you're not going to show any of your regular season game planning during the course of the preseason because you're not game planning.
Right.
You're simply running stuff that you want your guys to run. And so I guess that's the two-folded answer.
This is also the last significant game reps we will see from Jackson Dart if things go well.
Correct.
Because Russell Wilson is and has been named the week one starter, is the starting quarterback. Brian Dable has made it abundantly clear Russell Wilson is QB1 until further notice. And that's the plan. So after Thursday's game, it's going to be Russ in for the entirety of it. So this is Dart's last kind of game action reps for a period of time. We got another YouTube commenter, Round Earth. Shout out to Science. Over under 10 sacks for Abdul Carter. Well, first of all, I like the fact that Abdul Carter has already tweeted out an apology if you see him and he's looking a little messy because he is not getting a haircut until he gets his first sack. So he's letting it get wild right now until he gets his first sack. That man is determined. And also, I've had conversations with him where he's got his eye on LT's unofficial sack record, or he's got his eye on, he wants to get double-digit sacks. This man's focused. Can he execute? Can he do it? I don't know. I would not be surprised if he beats Azeez Ojulari's rookie sack record, which is 9.
No, LT had 9.5 as a rookie, but they don't count it because of Elias not counting it.
Because sacks were not an official stat yet. Aziz's official
record. Yeah, it was 5.5, I believe.
No. All right, I'm gonna look it up. Let's find the internet. But anyways, do you think he goes over
5.5,
under
8, whatever it was? LT's got in my mind. LT's got the rookie record of 9.5. I'm not moving off of that. I don't care what Elias says. I know what it was.
He had 8. Azeez Ojulari had officially 8. So the official rookie sack record within the New York Football Giants is 8 sacks.
Okay, I don't count that. Anyway, for him to get 10, he's got to beat LT's 9.5.
Yes.
That's not happening.
Well, he's got that as a goal.
God bless him.
Bulletin board. Let's go.
God bless him. But remember something. There's a real good group of teammates in that front seven besides Abdul Carter. And each one of those guys wants to eat too.
Yeah.
Thibodeau wants his sacks. Burns wants his. Dexter Lawrence had 9 last year before he wound up missing the last third of the season.
Yeah, he didn't play the whole season.
Okay? So
also 9 from a nose tackle who played not even the whole season. Can you even wrap your head around that? That's incredible.
Yeah, so to be frank, Abdul Carter, I appreciate that you got a goal, and it's a lofty goal. I get you. You want to be up there with the Lawrence Taylor type? Good. Great. Shoot high. Shoot for the stars. But you got other teammates who want to eat too, and they're going to be scrapping and fighting and doing everything they can to make sure they get a piece of that pizza pie and get those sacks before you do. So, no, I don't think he's going to beat LT's rookie record.
Don't have no in your heart, Paul.
I'll give him 7. How about that?
What a naysayer over here.
I'll give him 7.
He's going to let a naysayer know.
About LT. I'm taking a line out of Belichick. We're talking about LT here, folks.
Saying,
We're talking about LT.
Don't have no
okay?
in your heart.
There is no other. Okay? Anyway.
All right. Anyway, and finally, Junior Mendoza. Who's winning the CV2 battle, Flott or Banks? You know, Dable was talking about this the other day, and he said he was really impressed with was it Dable or Shane Bowen? I'm getting my media bills confused.
About who?
About this CB2 battle, and talking about how the competition, it was Dable, the competition has really kind of brought the most out of each
Bowen
of these
said
guys.
it too.
And Bowen said it too.
They both said it.
Has elevated the play of each of these guys, and it's been good for both Flott and Banks. I don't think that they've got really a decision set. You know, you saw Banks getting the majority of reps in that first preseason game. You saw Flott kind of out there in that second more so. We will see where the decision
they
lies.
flopped activations.
Yeah.
That was the problem. Flott was a bit injured, and again, we don't know for sure exactly what it was because the teams are not required to give you any injury information during the preseason. But Flott was somewhat nicked up for game 1.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Banks was somewhat nicked up for game 2.
Yeah.
When we watched practice today, Flott was running with the defense because Banks was with the trainers on the backfield doing some conditioning work and so forth. So it would appear that Flott is more on track to play against the Patriots than Banks is.
I mean,
now,
availability gives you an edge.
Well, that's true. I think Banks has outplayed him so far during the offseason, and it's Banks' job in my mind. But if he's unable to go, you know, it's entirely possible that during the course of the year, at different times during the season, you might see Flott starting, and other times you might see Banks starting. It may be matchup related. It may be injury related. I don't know that I would put a Sharpie marker on a paper right now and say so-and-so is starting all 17 games.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I could do that right now.
I don't think any of us can.
So,
Giants fans, with another impactful draft and free agency class in the books, that means it's full steam ahead to the 2025 season. Take your fandom to the next level with a Giants season ticket membership and catch all the action at MetLife Stadium. Stay connected to the club all year round, not just on game days, with an exclusive member access and benefits. To learn more about a New York Giants season ticket membership, visit giants.com/tickets. 201-939-4513 is the phone number as we head back to the phone lines. Jason in New Haven. Jason, thanks for holding. You're on Big Blue Kickoff Live with Paul Dottino and Madelyn Burke.
Hi, Madeline, Paul. How you guys doing?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah, I know we're in the Patriots week, but if you would allow me to just, a few things that caught my eye of interest. I believe what the game was Saturday, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So a few plays that stuck out to me. I thought Josh Azudu looked very well.
He did.
One thing that always struck me with him was his feet and his lateral explosion.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw that guard. I know the last few years they had him in tackle for, whatever reasons. Maybe they didn't have the depth. But this year with Hudson, Bo, and Forsythe, I think he's back at his natural position at guard. That's just my opinion.
You are correct.
And he looked pretty good. So we'll see where this goes. I don't know how that final 53 with the offensive line is going to shake out. I think to keep 9 or 10 linemen this year, just because of Andrew Thomas, he has missed some games. It's a blessing he's back off of PUP, so that's good. That's great news going in, starting to roll into the regular season. But Azudu looked well. Jackson Dart, one play. I'm gonna talk about one play. He had a completion to Montrell Washington over the middle, like he did in the Buffalo game. And one thing that I've always was, I don't want to say jealous, but envious that we haven't had since Eli, that I've seen other, really good offenses have around the league, is you have to defend every blade of grass when you play the likes of Kansas City, Buffalo, the Ravens, the Rams. You have to defend every blade of grass from the short to the deep part of the field. There's no way around it. And with Russ and Dart and even Jameis, with the arm talent, now everything has to, work in the regular season, of course, but we can only go off of what we see in the preseason. We have quarterbacks now where you have to defend every blade of grass, from the Bo Collins completion to the Montrell Washington. And what impressed me with the Montrell Washington completion is the way he manipulated those two safeties, right? Mm-hmm. He saw the weak side safety drop straight back, and what does he do? Decides to drop it straight in the arms of Montrell Washington, away from taking that big hit. That, to me, was the play of the game. I know that Bo Collins people bring that up, some other big plays, of course. But that, to me, was a really good trait, because for offense, you need to be able to attack every angle, every blade of grass on the field.
What about DeVito's throw to Bly in the fourth quarter? That didn't jaw drop you?
Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah, that was good too. I didn't mean to leave out DeVito.
I just want to give Tommy some love, fellow Paisan,
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I'm not taking it away from DeVito. I don't think he'll make the 53. If they bring him back practice squad, that's great. I don't know how the practice squad thing works now. He's been in the league 2-3 years now.
Oh, he can still go.
So I don't know how that's going to work.
Yeah, he can still go.
But yeah, and then one last thing, because I know you guys got to go. I'm with you, Paul. I think Chapman. How do I say this? Chapman was a nice story last year, and he had some splash plays. I remember that the Cleveland Browns game where he had that sack on what's the quarterback they had last year? I forgot his name. But anyway, he had some splash plays last year, but he just doesn't have, and this is not his fault, it's just his body type. People say he's strong, but he's just not a very good run defender. And that's not his fault. It's just his size, his stature. Yes, he's a strong kid, but he just doesn't have enough girth in the middle to help with the run. And I'm hoping maybe, this is what I would like to see. The run defenses look good to me, but I still want a little more depth. I'm going to throw out two names. Maybe you guys could tell me, and I'll take it off the air. I still think we need another plugger in the middle. I think Roy Robson Harris has played very well this preseason. I like that acquisition. Mm-hmm. Darius is going to take him some time, to get acclimated, but I'm not too concerned about him right now. Nacho's Nacho. But what do you guys think about a possible reunion? I like Raekwon Davis. He's a D tackle that came out of Alabama last year. But I'm going to give a name out. I know he's on the older side in his career, but he hasn't retired, if I'm not mistaken. What would you guys feel about a reunion with Linval Joseph? Not so much necessarily.
Are you sure he is not retired? I'm not sure, to be honest. No, I'm not being funny. So. I'm not being funny.
I don't know. I mean, he's not. He hasn't announced his retirement, but he is not playing. He's a free agent and has been since the 24th.
No, I'm just throwing his name. I'm not saying he has to be the person, but I'm hoping waiver wire Shane is kind of looking to see, what the tackles are kind of going to shake loose. I just named those two. I'm not saying they have to be those two, but I would like another plugger in the middle. And then one more thing, shouts to Carmen Brasillo. I mean, like I said, it's preseason, but the way our offensive line is playing with cohesion, you don't really see a lot of blown assignments. We had a few here and there the last 2 weeks, but as a whole, man, Carmen Brasillo has done an awesome job. I hope this carries over into the regular season. Madelyn, Paula, I'll take your answers off there. Thank you.
Thanks for calling, Jason.
What's the number now after 2 games? They've given up 2 sacks and 90 pass attempts. Does that sound about right to you?
Yeah, about that. It was 51 after the first one. 51 pass attempts, no sacks.
And it was 30-something the other night.
Yeah, so I think it was like 86, I think was the final number between the first two.
So, again,
2 sacks.
approximately 90.
And while sacks are also a quarterback stat, you got to give love to the offensive line for
that's my point.
Hodor. They got to hold the line.
You know, the one thing that I think is very interesting here about JMS, and a lot of people talk about him, and I understand he's an undersized center, and during the first 2 years, he's been a bit inconsistent, and we haven't seen that consecutive growth pattern that you wanted to see from him, and I understand that. And he's at the heart of the line, so it's a very important piece to this puzzle, especially with Russell Wilson at the quarterback spot because he is shorter. You need to keep the front of his pocket clean. In talking to Carmen Brasillo earlier, he said to me that JMS has gotten stronger. It's something that people have asked me about on the show, and I haven't been able to answer because I don't go to the weight room and look what the numbers are. We're not privy to that stuff. But Carmen said...
Paul's weight room window is different than
Yeah,
JMS.
that's for sure.
Yeah, they're not in there at the same time. So.
Oh, yeah. So Carmen said, though, that JMS is stronger. He has gotten stronger. And you can see he's gotten a little thicker, too. Now, that's great. He has to now employ that. If he's really got a higher power quotient, he needs to know how to use it effectively. Otherwise, he's still going to run into trouble against these 330-pound defensive tackles who are going to use their girth to their advantage and give him a hard time. That, to be honest with you, is the biggest problem an undersized center has. If his power quotient can be effectively used against those oversized guys, that will take him a long way into becoming more effective.
That's the truth. That's the truth. Giants fans, run or walk with Giants legends. The Giants Foundation will host a 5K race and kids run presented by Quest on Sunday, October 26th at 9 a.m. at MetLife Stadium. Net proceeds will benefit the Giants Foundation. All participants will receive a commemorative T-shirt, and after the race, you can stay for post-race festival with appearances by Giants legends and a live DJ. Register now at giants.com/5K. The Giants Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit corporation.
You can do that, by the way. I can't. I've been asked about it. We're on the road that day. So I think we're in Philly, right? We're in Philly, Pearson. But
first of all, Paul's signing me up for a 5K right now.
You can do it.
I got a show to host.
You can do it. All right, never mind.
No, I
Whatever.
know. That's true. That's true. I could. I may. We'll see. Well, there may be a surprise appearance by me.
There you go.
We'll see.
Power walk it. You don't have to run it.
Yeah, I'll
walk
Dottino it. No, I like a little jog. I like
All right.
a little jog. I don't know. These neat. No, I'm kidding. 201-939-4513 is the phone number. Let's go back to the phone line. It's Lucas in New Jersey. Lucas, thanks for holding. You're on Big Blue Kickoff Live with Paul and Madelyn.
Hey, Paul and Madelyn. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for calling.
Hi.
Just to kind of finish what you guys were saying about JMS, yeah, good to hear that he's stronger. He's definitely, in my opinion, the biggest question mark on the line, at least right now. I have some observations also. I think the play calling in general has been exquisite comparatively. I haven't been able to predict what we're going to run, which I've been pretty much able to do for the last 2 years. But, Evan Neal, I really didn't like coming out of school. His comments about burger flippers didn't sit well with me with his performance, but I do think he found his home at right guard. I think it might even help an undersized JMS to have some superhero-sized right guard with him. I also agree Zudu played pretty well. I think they're both in their natural fit now. I think our line has great depth. I think our quarterback room is really good. I kind of think Dart's number 2 right now in terms of, when he goes out there, how the team performs around him and the confidence I feel as a spectator. I love his footwork. I think he's shown some great footwork. I think the only bad play I saw from Neal was this kind of guard. He just let the guy through on the comeback right out to the right where he almost caught the receiver, but it was like right out of his hands. You guys remember that one? And then I was going to say Chapman. I was watching, because now that we're winning, right, and now that we scored 30 points, it makes me want to go on YouTube TV and just rewatch the games all the time. So I've been doing that. I saw Elijah Chapman just knock the socks off of the guy like a perfect fullback would. And I just think hey, he's got my dog Kobe's barking. He's got the tank. He's fast. He's I don't know. I think he's definitely found a role on the team if he can continue to just rip apart everyone he comes into contact with, which is great. And then, I agree with Paul. He was saying that, the new corner we got, Adebo.
Paulson Adebo.
Putting some flavor. I would call him Adobo, because he's putting a lot of flavor out there. I agree he's the next factor. He catches the ball. But just wanted to catch what you guys were thinking. Are you guys on the same page? Even the call, even the people who are calling, because even when I'm hearing Howard Cross, right, I'm hearing the greats call Branks, they're excited and they're noticing the difference. So I just wanted to take, your thoughts on it.
Yeah, thanks so much for the call, Lucas, and give Kobe some belly scratches from us. Listen, the dog's barking in the background. He needs some love too. Okay. I love that you named your dog Kobe. I'm from LA. I'm here for it.
I get it.
Anyway, your thoughts?
Well, in terms of Paulson Adebo, just to give you the numbers, he had 3 picks in 7 games last year and 4 picks the year before in 15. To be frank with you, the Giants would love to have a guy who just had that many. Yeah. And that's not a ton, but it's enough. That would be 7 interceptions in 22 games. See, I could do math too.
Look at that. Carry the 2.
Not bad, right?
Not bad.
So, yes, I'm glad that you like Adebo and you like his ability to take the ball away. I just want to go back to your Chapman comment. And I think this is very interesting because as I look at the defensive line and, we start fiddling with the numbers and how many you're going to keep, and it's really, really hard. It's really hard for me today to say he's on the 53. I'm sorry. I appreciate the fact that he's a baby bull. I think he's a great guy. I think he's a great story. I'd love to keep him in the building. Because if you keep him on the practice squad, there's always a chance that at some point during the season, he's going to see time. Mm-hmm. And if you need him, he'll be there. I'd love to see that. I just don't know right now that he's done enough to be on the 53. Because I'm going to tell you something. If you want a dark horse, okay, DJ Davidson has bulked himself up. And he has played well in these first 2 preseason games.
And he's a Sun Devil.
That is true.
We need more Sun Devils around here.
I know. If you didn't get the connection, there it is.
Yeah.
And to be frank, he's made some inroads with the coaches. And I think if you strictly look at him as a defensive tackle compared to Elijah Chapman, while Chapman is unique and he does provide some other value, I think just as a pure defensive tackle, you probably would lean to Davidson.
Yeah.
That's my thought.
Yeah. It's going to be some tough decisions for this front office, which is a great position to be in, honestly, going into cut day on Tuesday.
And there's even a chance that Davidson doesn't make it. And oh, by the way, should we go back to the comment she made earlier about how not everybody gets to stay after the cut down day?
Right, yeah.
Well, folks, there's a chance that maybe that last defensive tackle is number 53, and on Wednesday he gets replaced.
Yeah.
That could happen too.
Yeah, don't buy your jerseys just yet. We'll keep it posted. 201-939-4513. Let's head back to the phones. Miles calling from Maryland. Miles, thanks for holding. You're on Big Blue Kickoff Live with Paul Dottino and Madelyn Burke.
Madelyn, Paul, nice to talk to you guys again. I just want to say a couple of things real fast, and then I'll take it off the air. Man, we got one crazy position battle at wide receiver. Bo Collins, Washington.
Yes.
I love it.
Olszewski.
Yeah, Gunner's running some clean routes out there.
Yep, I love it. It's awesome. Finally, we got some
Humphrey.
nice competition going.
There's
a little competition, breeds success. You know what I mean?
Cambry, all that.
It's a good room.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Jackson Dart. Woo, man, he looks good, man. He looks good. I love it. And the only other thing I wanted to say was, actually 2 other things. Cam Scatterbo and Jackson Dart kind of are giving me like Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott vibes. like when they first came in. Both of them
Hold
as
your roll,
rookies.
man. Hold your roll.
I
okay?
mean, in terms of the fact that they do have this adorable bromance, much like Dak and Zeke had,
That's what I'm talking
the
about. Like, they do
bestiness.
that
Okay.
That
Okay.
I think that's what Miles is referring to. Not
All
in
right.
terms of on the field. We haven't seen them on the field together yet, but in terms of the bromance, no. I completely agree. They're just immediately simpatico there.
Yeah, that, and then just a question, how many starters has Jackson Dart actually played against on defense? I know when we played Buffalo, DeMar Hamlin was out there, and yeah, that's it, guys. Nice talking to you guys. Hope all is well, and go Giants.
Thanks so much for the call, Miles. I know that Buffalo did have quite a few of their starters on defense
They did.
still on the field.
Yeah, they did. And to be honest, last week, by the time he got on the field, I don't think the Jets had any starters in the game at that point.
Yeah, they had very few to start with anyway. So.
You know, but again, I don't want to dwell on this, but it's about the level of execution for the plays that he's given. It's not necessarily about what he did to the other team. And I know maybe that sounds confusing and it sounds kind of dumb, but that's really what it is. They're giving him plays. He's not trying to attack the weakness of the other team because they're not game planning. So there's really not much to say about the level of the other team's players, whether they're starters or reserves, because they're not game planning to attack them.
Right.
They're telling Jackson Dart, these are the plays we'd like you to run, effectively run those plays, execute those plays, do what you're supposed to do, and we're happy.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really matter who's on the other side of the ball.
Right. Exactly.
So I don't know that question holds a lot of merit.
No, but it does hold merit in that, you know, people who are starters in this league. I mean, also if you're on the field in this league, even in the preseason, that is a tremendous accomplishment.
Oh, sure.
And
Sure.
that means you have tremendous talent in the game of football. A starter, though, someone who consistently plays the game and has kind of some developed instinct over a period of time, perhaps has more of an ability, you know, a different talent level of going against. And you're right, schematically, it is different. I understand the sentiment of the question. It's you're playing against guys who are going to be on the field and on the roster come September, October, November, as opposed to guys who aren't. But to Paul's point, yeah, the schematics of it are very different.
The Giants are not asking him to run plays out of a specific game plan to attack the weakness of the other team. And quite frankly, the defense has not game planned to try to attack him. That's a lot. Those are two huge different dynamics that are not in play during the preseason, no matter which players are on the field.
Absolutely. And finally, before we wrap this one up, because we've got to get out of here, but we've got a couple more YouTube comments. A lot of questions about this wide receiver room, Paul. Eric wants to know, what are the chances Collins makes it? Grumpy Gorilla. First of all, hope you become a joyful gorilla soon enough. Is the slot receiver competition closer than everyone thinks, or is Wandale a clear front runner? My opinion, Wandale Robinson is,
he's the starting slot.
Done. 7 yards a catch last season. You want to see that number go up a little bit higher, but the volume and the frequency with which they can depend on him, that's a great place to be. Bo Collins, I know that this, coaching staff is fond of him. They're interested to see what he can do, but that's going to be a tough bubble. I mean, depends on how many receivers you keep.
Yes, and if they do decide to keep that extra receiver on the 53, I personally believe Collins has a little bit of a leg up on the rest of the room.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me. I will not speak for Joe Shane or Brian Dable.
Collins, Lil Jordan Humphrey, Montrell Washington. These are guys that are on the
Olszewski.
fringe. Gunnar Olszewski, a guy who can contribute to specials as well. These are guys who are, kind of on the fringe of that wide receiver room battle. So
They've
we'll
all
see.
done really good things.
Yeah, we'll see how it all shakes out. We've got about a week left until cut down day, and we've got about 0 minutes left of our show because we got to get out of here, ladies and gentlemen. But thank you so much for listening to a Tuesday
Indeed.
edition of Big Blue Kickoff Live. He's Paul Dottino. I'm Madelyn Burke. BBK is brought to you by Cadillac, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Football Giants. We've been coming to you from the Giants podcast studio presented by Hackensack Meridian Health. Keep getting better. Giants.com/podcasts. Like, comment, subscribe. You know the deal. We'll see you next time.